Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and another planner video. So today I'm just going to run through some new release kits that I do have in my shop. I thought it would be good just to go through the kits. I don't know, with like a printable shop I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you need something tangible. So I have printed the most recent releases in my shop off. That's really hard to say. And I thought I would just film a quick video to run through. I also have a, I guess like a bonus kit that I also, it's not new, but with a lot of spring summer art kind of being released. I've printed it for myself to use next month, so I felt like maybe I'll just include that as well so you can kind of get an idea of some other stuff that I have. So I do have two spring kits and a summer kit. So I'll start with I'll go in chronological order, I guess, in like when they were released. These have been released, I think, probably over the last month or so. So I don't release things all the time. I'm not a shop that like churns out every art set, and I just don't have the capacity to do that. So I kind of pick art that really speaks to me. And generally art that I want to use personally as well. So first up we have, this is called Cowboy Romance. And this is art by Brit. I think this was actually her first ever, no, maybe her second art set that she released, which, I don't know, it's really exciting to have more like people in the community and more artists. So I definitely wanted to use this. Even though at the time I hadn't actually read Chestnut Springs. I think the art set was called Chestnut Springs and that's what it's based around. Obviously the books are up here. I hadn't read it at the time. I just thought like, no, this is cool, unique art. I feel like people are into books at the moment. I enjoy books and I own these books. I'll get to them one day. And it's funny because since then, the Chestnut Springs series has become my personality. So it would have been perfect to use, I guess, to mark me reading the Chestnut Springs series, but this is a very spring kit to me and I'm currently in autumn. So I'm going to save this and use it as a spring kit with like nods of the Chestnut Springs. So these are the full boxes. A couple of fashion people, obviously the scene with like the barn kind of classic, like I feel like this is so classic American barn. You've got the three books in there. It's Heartless, Hopeless and Flawless, and I cannot remember which book belongs to which couple. I can't do it. I'm thinking about filming a like my least favorite to most favorite Chestnut Springs book / couple, if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. I feel like I need to get my thoughts out. Maybe I'll do like a reel, maybe I'll do a YouTube video, but I don't know. But anyway, I can never remember which book goes with which couple, so I'm not even going to try. You've got like a horse. I love this horse. I think this is really fun. Flat lay, another fashion person, and then the coffee says, "Hold your horses, I need coffee," which I think is fun. And then we have the colors of the kit. So it is purple, light pink, green, and blue. Not traditionally colors that I tend to favor. They're quite kind of pastel for me, but I feel like they worked with the art set. So also, if you haven't seen my format before, I guess you're going to get a good look through it. So glitter headers and then deco. And then this is in the newest format. And then one of the kits, no, all three of the new releases are in the new format, but then the one that I'll quickly go through at the end is not, obviously, because that was from last season. So you've got labels up the top, like washi labels, I guess, fancy labels, and then different sizes of boxes. Also, we listen and we don't judge regarding my cutting skills, because this is why I have a printable shop, because I cannot use a silhouette to fucking save my life. I churn through so much paper and ink with offcut kits. It's ridiculous. So these are for me, and I don't care if my pages are slightly offcut. It doesn't bother me, but we listen and we don't judge. So these are the little things And then the, what are these called? Like the square boxes, and then just extra labels and things. And then I just wanted something a bit more bright and punchy in terms of colours. So I went with this pink that's like in the jacket of this person, and then the blanket as well. I just feel like it kind of, I don't know, brings the colours to life a little bit. And if you didn't know, my extra colour is designed to like not be needed. You obviously have enough to do your 4, like your normal spread with 4 colours, but there's enough in here to, I suggest adding in the 4th colour. That's how I make it work in my head, is like what colour would complement the other 4 colours that are already in the kit, and that's how I do it. But obviously you could substitute a colour entirely if you wanted to on one of the days, but yeah, the extra colour, what you've got, is designed to add to the spread, if that makes sense. And then there's a close-up of the Wishing Well Ranch sign, and then the bottom washi. So again, I brought in that kind of more peachy pink in the date covers, and then the 2 different bottom washi designs. So that is Chestnut Springs, and as I said, it is based on the Chestnut Springs books by Elsie Silver, which I'm just obsessed with. So let me know if you want a video on that. It's totally separate. The next spring kit is honestly probably my, not to toot my own horn, but my favorite spring kit I've ever seen. And this was art by, and I can never remember if it's Stick With The Plans or Stick To The Plans, because they both exist, but it's the artist, not the character sticker shop. And this was her spring / Easter themed art set for the year, and for me, Easter is not in spring. So I get really frustrated when all of the Easter kits that we ever get are so springy. And don't get me wrong, I understand. I get why. But that's why I tried to separate this into a spring kit rather than an Easter kit. However, you'll see I did do an Easter box. So Easter's past now, but I know a lot of people do plan like in retrospect. So if you need an Easter kit but you don't want something to Easter, I think this is a good option. And this is just absolutely beautiful. Like this is everything I want in a kit. I feel like the colors and the vibe remind me of the Celeste Studio, the Oak Avenue art that she did a few years ago, which was like one of my favorite art sets of all time, so it kind of makes sense. But I just feel like the colors are just so spring, but not pastel spring, because as I mentioned just before, I don't like pastel colors. So this to me is like the perfect vibe. So you've obviously got the 2 fashion people, the beautiful garden scene, the flat lay of the like the food. So there's cheese, bread, I think that's tea. And then this flat lay is more of the clothes with the flowers. This is like a close-up of a picnic basket with some stuff that you might have in there. And then the table with the really beautiful like cups, glasses, they're probably not cups. This one is in a different order. Let me put it in the correct order that it should be in. I think that's everything, yes. And so again, these colors are just everything that I need. Again, we listen and we don't judge, because the deco is extremely off-cut, but that's okay because it's just deco that goes off the top and I don't care. But when you download the files for yourself, the cut lines make sense. It's just me and my silhouette that don't. And then the patterned boxes, the solid boxes, the little things, extra boxes, and then the extra color. And with this one, I kind of went the opposite. So the colors are already quite, well, a bit more deeper. So I wanted to bring in the lighter color, again, designed to add to these 4 colors rather than substitute. I feel like, I don't know, substituting it just doesn't really make sense to me. In my head, that's how I designed it, but of course you do you with the kit. And then double box, which is perfect for, I thought, a spring coat like in the middle would just be so good. And then I kept the bottom washi light because, again, I think the colours of the kit are a bit darker. So I wanted to keep the bottom washi lighter. And then the Easter box, as I said. So I feel like you could use this in the sidebar, like up the top, if you wanted to make it an Easter spread. Or you could use it on like Easter Sunday, for example. So, or like me, if Easter is not in spring, then you don't use that box. So that was my thought process. So those are my 2 spring releases for this year. And then, where did I put, oh, over here. I do have a summer release, and this was like some of the most beautiful art I have ever seen. I don't think I said that one's called Spring Blooms. Yeah, so this is from Clip Art Kits, and it is called Desert Dreams. And if you know me, you just know that this is my color vibe. This is me to an absolute T. I love autumn colors and like the sunset orange, like the salmony red color, this rich green. When I saw this art, I knew I had to use it. And so, as I said, it's from Clip Art Kits, and it is just beautiful. Like, I love it so much. And I really, in general, I really try and do this, but especially in this kit, I really try and make an effort to, like, I don't just slap together full boxes. I really try and make sure they look correct with like depth perception and shadows being in the right places for where like the sun is coming in and that sort of thing. Whereas I feel like shops that maybe produce so many kits, I find a lot of the elements are kind of just put in the boxes, and that's not really my style. I really try and make it like photographically accurate. And as I said, I really tried to do that with this kit especially. As I said, it's my kind of principle in general, but in this kit I really took the time to make sure the shadows made sense, and where like the chinchilla, is that a chinchilla? I think it is. Maybe it's a fox. I don't know, is on the bed. There's like shadowing underneath to kind of give where it would be sitting on, things like that. I don't know. I really try to make an effort, so I hope you guys notice and care for the extra effort that I put in. But again, I design these kits for me because often it is cheaper for me to buy an art set and design it myself than it is to buy it from a shop in the US. Like, just using randomly SPC as an example, with the US dollar to the Australian dollar at the moment, one kit is $45 Australian, and then I have to pay to ship it here. Whereas an art set, like I think this cost me $60, for example, and then I put it in my shop, and I also potentially can make a bit of money back for me. So mostly what I do is for me, and then I also like to share it with you guys. So anyway, yeah, this is me in a color scheme. I know a few other shops use this kit and went more down the green route, and I did have green in at first, but I just thought the monochromatic moment was the moment. And you'll see green is the extra color because I love the green. But if you want to do a monochromatic moment, you can do a monochromatic moment. And that's some of my favorite things to do in a color block spread, especially, is monochrome. And so I really like this. Oh, I just love this so much. I can't wait to use this in summer. And then again, the most beautiful shade of green taken pretty much directly from the cactus. It's literally cactus green. I love it so much. And then the bottom washi, kind of one abstract pattern, and then again the green. And I did use this is like an example of using the depth. I used the hand as like grabbing the food. So the hand is like to scale of, if you were taking this photo, the hand to the items underneath it to scale. Well, as close as possible. So that's kind of like how I like to design my kits. The full boxes are my favorite thing to design, and so I really take the time to make them as realistic as possible. So those are my 3 new releases, and then as I said, I have printed off a kit to use for my upcoming trip to Hawaii, and I just thought I would go through it because it is a summer kit, and we're coming into, well, we're coming into summer art. I'm coming into winter, but that's okay. And you won't have seen this art before because I combined multiple art sets from this artist together, and I made a couple of different kits. I did a more cool toned version, which is called Coastal Cool, and I don't have that with me because I'm not using it in the near future. And this one's called Bright and Beachy, and as you can see, this is my old format because it doesn't have the name on the side. But yeah, so I combined a number of different art sets together to kind of create something unique. And so if you're looking for something a bit different, something you haven't seen before, this might be a cool option to take a look at. Also, I've just noticed my nails are the perfect color for this kit. They match perfectly. And so yeah, I'll just kind of flip through quickly because it's not new, but as I said, it might be something you're interested in. Colors are just so fun, quintessential summer. I just love it. I love everything about this kit. My format hasn't changed that much. It's mostly just been resizing a few of the boxes to be maybe more in line with what you'd expect from other shops or more user-friendly. This is the extra color. But yeah, in general, the format that you'll find is kind of the same from new to old. I'm trying to get the colors to show you, but the pages are stuck together. Oh, come on. Here. And then you've got the kind of pastel pink to go with that. And then the bottom washi has these 2 super fun patterns. And then as you can see, this is another example of the depth perception and the water texture. It looks kind of, well, I think like the snorkeling equipment is like floating a little bit underwater, and then the bathers obviously are floating on top. So if you want something a bit different, that's what I try and bring to my shop. I'd really appreciate it if you checked my shop out. I do sell kits for, I do have silhouette files and Cricut files as well. And yeah, we listen and we don't judge my printing. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you'll check my shop out and hopefully find a kit that you like. And if you do, make sure you tag me in it because I really love to see you guys use my stuff. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!